So I wanted to relate an experience that I kind of noticed in myself. It's something that perhaps you can relate to in your own experience. And I had this experience of just noticing how continuously, consistently in everyday life, it's like my mind will pull at me. In a sense, it's almost like there's this like pulling or this gravitational pull for me to think about my problems or like think about my shortcomings or inadequacies or just sort of like the negative parts of life that are really, it's just like a mental story or a mental projection. But I noticed that my mind, it's like it kind of pulls at me to give energy to these things, and it's almost like this, it's like a heaviness, right? And it is kind of like trying to sort of pull me down into this unconscious state. And I noticed that if I can just see this process happening, it's like, oh, the mind's pulling at me to think about these problems, and instead of actually giving energy to that, I come back to center, I come back to presence. I notice it and I don't give in to the temptation, because it's like this addiction. It's like part of us loves to think about our problems and to think about, why we can't live the life that we want to live and why we're a victim and all these things. It's addictive in a way. It's like we'd rather continue to experience that than move into a higher paradigm where we exist beyond that, and where we don't have any problems, and where we can actually live the life of our dreams, But there's a part of us, because we all have like multiple parts of ourselves, and there's a part of us that identifies with being a victim. It identifies with its inadequacies and self-doubt and why it can't do things and why it's not good enough. And it has a certain gravitational pull. And if you look at the collective of human society, like you can see this everywhere. And, marketing and branding and advertisement will exploit people's inadequacies. It's almost like the capitalist infrastructure, if you will, or the industrial empire of big brands and monopolies and companies. It really feeds off of people's insecurity and inadequacies, and it shows all these pictures of people in the media, Photoshop, they all look perfect, these celebrities with these perfect idealistic lives. But then of course you see the tabloids where it's like they over dramatize their lives to entertain people, because people feed off of that drama and that bullshit, right? And those cortisol spikes, those stress hormones. But the media paints this picture and it's like, oh, just buy this product and all your problems are solved and everything will be amazing. And then you get the product and you're like, wow, I still feel like a piece of shit, because that's not the problem. The problem is within yourself. It's your own state of being. It's your state of consciousness, your state of mind, and your mental attitude, and where you rest your awareness. That's why things like meditation and centering yourself in the present moment, noticing how tension patterns, contraction patterns, thoughts that create tension and contraction and unpleasant feelings in the body, like negative emotions, so to speak, which is like, it's like a contraction or a tension, right? The life force flowing through you is being pinched off. Notice how we can slip into this by default. I notice that in myself. Oftentimes I can kind of slip into that contracted state just by default, because there's like a collective gravity. And most people, if you look at most people, they kind of look like discontent, a little perturbed, almost like sickly in a way, and we're here to shift that and help people to shift that. So it starts by dissolving these patterns, these habitual patterns that create contraction and pinch off the flow of life energy through your being. And you do that by centering yourself in awareness And instead of allowing these thoughts or the mind to pull you in a certain direction, to pull you into thinking about your problems, to think about all this bullshit that doesn't serve you ultimately. Think about, you know, oh, I should have done this in the past, or oh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this in the future, money or relationships or, you know, work or anything like this. Instead of allowing your mind to just feed and fester on that and then you feel shitty, instead come back to center. Come back to the present moment. Notice, oh, where am I feeling tension in my body? How am I really feeling right now? What's going on inside of me in my body? Noticing that, and instead of allowing that to turn into thoughts where you start thinking about how much of a victim you are or creating some story, you just witness the feeling directly. So you just see it and you just accept it, that this moment is the way it is, and you just relax into it. No matter how it feels, it could be extraordinarily painful. You know, oftentimes we'll go into these mental stories to escape that visceral feeling of pain or anguish or discontent. But if we can allow ourselves to instead just be with it fully, breathe into it, bring love to that feeling of tension, and then just notice what happens. And it's really miraculous. And when the mind wants to stray and go into all this BS, you say, no, I'm gonna stay centered. I'm gonna come back to myself, come back to the breath, come back to the feeling of aliveness in my body. Return to that and return to presence. And not allow myself to just get pulled about by, you know, these menial, ephemeral little thoughts that float by like clouds, and these stories and mental fabrications of the mind. I'm not gonna allow myself to get entangled in that. I'm gonna see it for what it is. I'm gonna come back to the present moment. Center myself. Feeling my body, feeling the aliveness in the body. Centering my awareness there. Feeling, oh, is there tension? Is there any emotion stuck? Okay, let's just notice that. And just rest in that awareness. Center yourself in that awareness. So, that's the video for today. I love you guys. Remember to stay in the flow. Watch your thoughts. Watch what pulls at you. Notice it. Come back to center. Come back to the present moment. Feel your body. Feel the aliveness. Feel where's there tension. Bring your awareness into it. Bring acceptance. Bring love. You notice the mind wants to pull you. Just notice it and come back to center. Come back to the body. Notice the feelings, the sensations. Notice how it feels to be alive. All right. Much love, y'all. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.